You can lose your job in a day, your money in a market crash, your reputation in a single mistake. So answer this honestly. If everything you built disappeared tomorrow, would anything about you remain unshaken? Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Most men aren't strong. They're just well-positioned. And when the position disappears, so do they. Ancient warriors didn't train to look powerful. They trained to remain standing when everything else fell. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why chasing status is making you fragile, and how to build something inside you that cannot be taken. We've been taught the wrong game. From school to society, everything tells you, get the title, make the money, gain respect, be seen. But no one teaches you what happens when it's gone. No one teaches you how to stay grounded when life strips you down to nothing. Today, we're fixing that. You're going to learn the masculine art of remaining unshakable, not through motivation, but through ancient principles that built warriors who faced chaos, loss, and death without breaking. This isn't about becoming emotionless. It's about becoming stable in a world designed to destabilize you. And halfway through, I'll show you a mental shift used by Roman emperors and samurai alike. That turns pressure into power. But first, you need to see the trap you're in. Chapter 1. The Status Trap. You wake up. You check your phone, messages, likes, numbers, and without realizing it, your mood is already decided. That's the trap. Your identity is tied to things you don't control. Status feels like strength, but it's rented. Biologically, it makes sense. Status triggers dopamine and serotonin. It feels like progress, like validation. But here's the hidden cost. If your self-worth depends on external signals, you are owned by them. Lose the job, your confidence drops. Lose the attention, your energy collapses. You don't have stability. You have dependency. The moment you tie your identity to outcomes, you give the world permission to control you. And most men never realize this until something breaks. So, what do you build instead, if not status? Chapter 2. Your internal compass. Think about it. School trained you to perform, to get good grades, to meet expectations. External feedback became your compass. But here's the problem. No one trained your internal compass. No one asked, "Who are you?" without applause. So you grow up chasing signals. Boss approval, social validation, public success. And you mistake that for direction. But a man without an internal compass is like a ship that only sails where the wind blows. External success without internal stability creates high-functioning fragility. You can look successful and still collapse under pressure. So where does real stability come from? Because right now, you might already feel it. That quiet instability. The sense that if one thing collapses, too much goes with it. Stay with me, because what you're about to learn is the exact mental framework that kept emperors calm in chaos, and warriors steady in the face of death. For that, we go back nearly 2,000 years. Chapter 3. The Illusion of Control. You think you're in control, but notice this, how easily your state changes. One message can lift you. One silence can break you. One bad day, and suddenly you question everything. That's not control. That's volatility. And volatility is the opposite of strength. Ancient warriors feared this more than defeat. Not losing the battle, but losing themselves. Because a man who depends on conditions will always be at the mercy of them. Stability begins the moment your state is no longer dictated by circumstances. So how do you build that kind of control? Internally. Chapter 4. The Inner Fortress. Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor and most powerful man in the world. Yet he wrote this: "You have power over your mind, not outside events." He called it the inner citadel, a place inside you, untouched by chaos. Imagine that. No matter what happens, loss, betrayal, failure, there is a part of you that remains steady. Modern science confirms this. Your limbic system reacts instantly: fear, anger, stress. But your prefrontal cortex gives you a choice. Between stimulus and response, there is a gap. And in that gap, your entire life is decided. Weak men collapse into reaction, anger, impulse, ego. Strong men expand that space. They observe first, then choose. And that single shift turns chaos into control. That's stability. You don't control what hits you, but you control how long it controls you. Train the pause, and you train power. But knowing this isn't enough. You need structure. You need principles you can live by. So here are the 3 pillars that turn this idea into something real. Chapter 5. The 3 pillars of being unshakable. Pillar 1. Amor fati. Love the fight. Most men ask, why is this happening to me? Strong men ask, how is this training me? Amor fati. Love your fate, not tolerate it, not survive it, use it. Every obstacle becomes part of your construction. Breakup, emotional discipline, failure, strategic clarity, rejection, identity separation. The moment you stop resisting reality, you start using it, and suddenly, nothing is wasted. Pillar 2. Premeditatio malorum. Train for loss. This sounds dark, but it's powerful. Ancient warriors visualized loss, failure, death, worst-case scenarios. Why? Because what you face mentally stops controlling you emotionally. If you've already confronted the fear, it loses its grip. Modern men avoid this. They distract themselves. But avoidance creates fragility. Preparation creates calm. You don't become strong by hoping for the best. You become stable by being ready for the worst. Pillar 3. Integrity over approval. This is where most men fail, because this is where it costs you. Standing by your values might cost you status. You might lose opportunities. People might misunderstand you, distance themselves. You might stand alone, while others choose the easy path. But that's the price of becoming unshakable. You might stand alone, and it will feel uncomfortable. But here's the trade. Do you choose short-term status or long-term self-respect? Because only one of them builds unstoppable confidence. And only one of them leads you to relationships that actually match who you are. Every time you choose truth over approval, you reinforce a foundation that cannot be taken from you. And this leads to the final realization, the one that changes how you measure your entire life. At the beginning, I asked you, if everything disappeared, would anything remain? Now you have the answer. Status is temporary. Stability is earned. Status is given. Character is built. And here's what most men realize too late. When everything falls away, you don't rise to your ambitions. You fall to your foundations. And if you look back, you've already been building them. Your biology, your nervous system. That's your foundation. Your rituals, the things you do daily. That's your structure. And this, your mindset, is what holds it all together under pressure. Because stability was never the starting point. It was always the result. So the question is no longer, how successful can you become? But, how stable are you when success disappears? And when life tests you, and it will, only one of those will still be standing. Be the rock in the storm, not the foam on the wave. So here's your next step. What is one value you would refuse to compromise, even if it cost you status? Write it down, own it, because that's where your inner fortress begins. And if you want to go deeper into what school never taught you about becoming a grounded, dangerous, and disciplined man, this is just the beginning.